Ding ding! Welcome to another episode of Bell to Bell. Along with me tonight is my boy Milton Wint, and I am your host, Jose Garza. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, another day in paradise, like they always say. I never really understood that, but it's another blessed day. How are you doing, bro?
Hey, man, just waking up, putting one leg through my pants one at a time. Just
That,
trying to,
that's a way.
just trying to live a little bit.
That is a really in-depth answer. I appreciate that one.
I'm doing my best, doing my
And,
best.
and right, Thursday night football's on, so apologies to anybody that we're inconveniencing you, but this is more important. This is an award show.
I just want to know who's looking at Seahawks versus Bears and just like this. This is more important than bell to bell.
Come on. Yes.
Geno Smith,
All right, dude.
Caleb Williams.
All right, man. Come on. They're doing their best. Come on.
It's week 17. There's no time to be doing your best now.
Well, Seahawks, it's a meaningful game. They need to win. It's meaningful for them. Chicago, I don't know what they're probably not playing for anything. So that's true.
Yeah. So, guys, again, welcome to Bell to Bell impromptu episode. We've been talking about it, and we just decided let's do it now. We could have done other things. We could have done People's Debate. We could have done Puro Future Sports tonight too. But we decided Bell to Bell. Let's knock out some MMA talks, and of course, it's been another big year, 2024, in the books for the UFC, which is primarily what we're going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, as far as award shows. And so, just to give you in-depth stuff, we're going to be doing Fight of the Year, Knockout of the Year, Fight of the Year, Submission of the Year, and then we're going to be talking about basically 2025. What fights we want to be looking forward to, what fights we want to be set up, what kind of champions are we going to have in 2025 compared to 2024. We saw a lot of mixed champions that last year coming into this year, Milton. We had different faces, and end of the year different, completely different. So let's see what goes on in 2025. But first, let's give a shout out to the 2024 fighters, 2024 events, and stuff like that. So, Milton, I'm gonna leave it up to you, man. What award do you want to go with first?
I say we start off big. We go with Fight of the Year.
Fight of the Year. Okay.
And the Fight of the Year, there's so many different nominees because some of them had more championship aspirations, some of them were more meaningful. And the two that really stood out for me didn't have any implications on title shots, rankings whatsoever. They were legitimately just the Fight of the Year. One honorable mention that I do want to mention out there, and it's another nominee and multiple other ones that I have, is the Islam Makhachev against Dustin Poirier. Just for tit for tat, yes, Dustin Poirier was maybe a plus 400, plus 500 underdog, but he surprised Islam, you can tell. But he surprised everybody with his takedown defense, his grappling his grappling pros outweighed everything that he's done previously. And also on the other side, Islam on the feet outstruck Dustin. So yes, as the fight was going on, you saw Islam a little more wincing, but just Fight of the Year, it was one of the better fights competitively, and I guess you could say high level that I saw this year. But my Fight of the Year is going to be Daniel Zellhuber against Esteban Ribovics. It was a split decision. It was on I think it was on the 299 or 300.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was on a pay-per-view, I believe. And it was just also a very technical, tactical bloodbath in the first two rounds. Then the third round, both of them just said, let's brawl. And they did the good old backyard, what casuals love to watch. And it was just an amazing fight. Every single second was, your eyes couldn't get away from what you were watching. That's my fight of 2024.
Definitely a highlight of Noche UFC 306, Milton.
Okay.
Definitely one that a lot of people are talking about now because obviously the later parts of the card was very blah, but
Yeah.
also, as you said, very impactful for the two fighters. And that's one of the things that you really do appreciate about prelim fights and everything, you see fighters that are not usually on featured on the main card and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
give a little more edge, give it a little more they got. And these two fighters, Zellhuber and Ibovic, they gave it their all, and
Yes.
we got entertained for a really good card in the sphere as far as for that fight there.
Correct.
Now, interestingly enough, Milton,
Mm-hmm.
your honorable mention happens to be my fight of the year.
Okay.
The champion Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier is my fight of the year, and a lot of it, Milton, has to do with the fact that I bet you and myself and a lot of people did not give Dustin Poirier a shot at this fight.
No.
Because we've seen how Mr. I let my back taken, get rear naked choked alongside the cage, how it's happened multiple times and everything. None of us gave him a shot. Dustin Poirier, for all the criticism you may have of him in title fights, he came out, he showed out. He gave Islam his toughest test yet. Other than the fight that he got knocked out in, right?
No, we'll talk.
I mean, if you want to say Volkanovski too,
the first one. The first one. One. That was pretty. I think that was the toughest one for Islam.
Fair. But I mean, for the expectations, right? I'm saying for the expectations.
Yeah, 100%.
So with that, Dustin Poirier game. I mean, I was already a Dustin Poirier guy. I've always been. When he fought Oliveira, I went for the diamond. When he went for Khabib, I went for the diamond. So naturally, I wanted him to win, but I picked Islam. And man, what a fight! They went at it. Could have gone either way, but in the end, Makhachev locks in that Darce choke.
Yes.
Grits it out, just finds a way and retains his title. What a great fight!
Yeah.
302, just what a way to close it out, because 302 was a spectacular card coming off of obviously 300. But man, Makhachev really shows some grit. And Dustin Poirier, maybe the last time we see him in a title fight, but one to remember.
Yeah, I mean, every single thing, every point that you said, 100%. It even the at the end, him getting the Darce choke, everything that led up to that, as far as the ankle little sweep, him changing from submission to submission and then putting in the Darce choke. It was just, I mean, masterful from Islam. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so that's
whatever you want next.
I say next one, we follow it up with knockout of the year.
Okay.
And so obviously, there's a lot of things we can go with knockout of the year. A nice honorable mention I will throw out there because it was just one of my ha-ha moments of the year. Is Alex Pineda knocking out Jamal Hill?
I knew you were going to do that.
Herb Dean comes in, thought a low blow might have happened. Alex says, hold up, I'm good. Right there in his range. They duke out of the one. Bah! Yeah. Left uppercut. Done. Finished. Jamal Hill's done. And now he's all over YouTube, crying for a new fight, trying to start up. He can't finish. So that is my honorable mention there, Milton. But for my real knockout of the year, it's the obvious. The UFC 300 spectacular BMF fight. It was Max Holloway knocking out Justin Gaethje at 300. Okay. That is the one spot where it's just like you want these guys to go out and bam, Max Holloway, dude. I mean, and give it to Justin Gaethje too. Like he, swinging for the fences. Max gave him a shot to try to redeem himself after, basically 3-1, 4-0 card, on the card. Yes. So Max said, you know what, let's give a shot. And
4:59 on the clock.
I don't know how everyone's blood pressure wasn't on the rise. Dang, man, it was crazy. So respect to that. I mean, obviously took off years off both their lives, but it was definitely something.
As far as meaningful years off their life where their brain is working. Unfortunately, Jose, I also have Holloway. I'll bring up some honorable mentions, but
unfortunately, it's great knockout.
Well, yes, but I was hoping, maybe not that one, dude. But Holloway, yeah, you can't. It was meaningful. It happened 4:59 on the clock. Like you said, him winning easily a unanimous decision. and him allowing a guy that hits like bricks within Justin Gaethje a shot. So and Max Holloway's not known for his knockout, like his one punch knockout. So everything and anything that happened at that little moment is definitely just KO of the year. My honorable mentions, I'll go with. I also had Alex Pereira, but actually Alex Pereira in another light with the head kick in the second round against Yuri Prohashka. So as you remember, in the first round, ending the first round, he knocks him down with a left hook. Yuri survives, of course. The bell saves him, and then he comes out first couple of seconds and gets head kicked, and he's knocked out unconscious. So that was honorable mention. Shara Magomedov doing the double spinning back fist against Armin Petrosian. That was absurd. I think it was a Saudi Arabia card, the fight night, I believe. And yeah, I mean, we never seen a double spinning back fist. So you got to I give him props on that one. And my last honorable mention is going to be Vinicius Oliveira with the flying knee over Sopaj. Sopaj is going to be fighting either the first fight night or the first pay-per-view of January. He's also a good prospect. So him doing that to him, a good prospect. Yes. I mean, the flying knee was in the third round. The fight also was almost over, but him doing it that way against a good prospect, also honorable mention for your boy. Did you have any other honorable mentions for the knockout of the that I didn't name? There was a good amount, but
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing running to my head right now, UFC related. Now, I did recently watch a knockout a few days ago where a dude hooks a dude at the same time getting kicked in the balls. Not in the UFC, I think it was PFL maybe, but
Okay.
I was like, woo! What a way to win, right? You know, what a way to win. So
since KO's a finishing aspect of MMA, let's move on to submission of the year.
All right.
I'll start the submission of the year, and it's so funny that you have it as your fight of the year. My submission of the year is Islam against Dustin Poirier, that Darce choke. Kind of how I explained the ending sequence of the Darce choke. As a guy that nothing on the level of either one of those two. As a guy that practices the art and the discipline of jiu-jitsu, everything that he did to lead up to the Darce was just it was one of the smoothest transitions I've seen in a very, very long time, especially knowing, as we both watched, him getting his head cut open. Both of them are tired. Both of them are sweaty. And him doing that to Dustin Poirier, a black belt, in the moment that he did it in. So that's my submission of the year. I have some honorable mentions, but I'll save those.
Well, Milton, we've done it again. That is my submission of the year as well. For the same things you explained, it's just the setup, the lead up, everything that was going down into that round, and then just the way that Islam was able to capitalize and take it from there. You can't really discredit what happened in that fight. Both fighters gave it everything they got, and again, Poirier goes out in a choke, but he was so defensive about the rear naked choke that at the end he did give up his neck front forward and just gave Islam with everything. And you got Khabib in the corner and he's telling him what to do and everything, but to see it executed on the floor is just remarkable stuff. So that's why it was also my submission of the year as well.
Beautiful and a one. It was obviously not my submission of the year, but that came right close, damn near to it. Was not too far along from that fight. It was the Paddy Pimblett against Bobby King Green, the triangle in the first round. One, Bobby Green was not submitted in the UFC, I don't believe, ever. So that's a feat. And Bobby Green's been in the UFC for how long? Paddy Pimblett, again, his transitioning. One, that's King Green shot the takedown. So shame on him. That was absurd. No idea why he did it. He doesn't even do that, but he shot the takedown. first Patty had a armbar on him. Then he
Mhm.
transitioned seamlessly, beautifully into that triangle, and Bobby King Green went to sleep. So that came in number 2 for me. Big, huge honorable mention because I at first started as a Patty fan. Then the Jared Gordon fight happened, and then I kind of jumped off the train. And I'm still not on the train because his stand-up is very suspect to be as seasoned as he is. But the submission game from Patty Pimblett, I mean, you gotta tilt your hat off to Patty the Batty.
For my honorable mention, Milton, I'm gonna give it to Brian Ortega for what he did against Yair Rodriguez.
Very good.
Um, Obviously a rematch from the first fight, which ended in an incidental injury for Ortega. But the way that Ortega, if you've watched Ortega fight for a long time, he's either injury prone or he tends to get really beat up by high class fighters. So for a lot of people, Yair was near a high class fighter. He had just gotten a title shot,
Right.
and in the first round, if anyone remembers it, Ortega's in trouble, really big. Risking it all. But next round starts taking over, and at the end, early third, comes with a beautiful arm triangle, closes it out, a big fight between two Latinos, two Mexicans. And man, I just gotta give it up there because for me, I've been very critical. Like you said, how you feel about Patty? I've been very critical about Brian Ortega.
Right.
And so there's high class moments, high opportunities, and so for him to go out there and do something like that, got a lot of respect from me.
I thought you were gonna go this route. Hamzat, round 1, breaking Rock Whitaker's jaw. I'll say, like, just submission wise,
Yeah.
obviously he broke his jaw. That's why the tap. And I mean, grappling wise, it was a great showing of how dominant Hamzat is because you did that against Robert Whitaker, the best second, third best middleweight of all time, in my opinion. And goes out, does that, breaks his jaw that quickly, that dominantly. Hamzat is, we'll talk about 2025.
We'll see what goes on there, right? I mean, God willing, guys, God willing. All right, so then we'll go into now. We have one item left on the agenda board, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Fighter of the Year. Now, Milton, if we don't have the same Fighter of the Year, then there's something wrong with us. Stop kidding.
I think we might disagree because I know who you hype up a lot. So we'll see.
All right.
See, I'll let you start it.
I have no honorable mentions.
No.
I'll be honest with you.
Whoa!
This was an undisputed victory. There was no need for a second place. There was no need for a third place, Milton. Okay. So Alex Pereira Potan is my Fighter of the Year for what he was able to do, ladies and gentlemen. 3 title fights, 3 finishes. I mean, come on, man. Like we don't got champions that fight 3 times a year anymore.
That's fair.
And this man didn't care who it was. It didn't matter who stood in front of him. Did he get a little cocky against Khalil Roundtree? Sure. He got rocked. He got a little cocky. How did it end? With him on top. How did it end with him versus Yeedy in a rematch? With him just staring down Yeedy and Yeedy getting knocked out a second time in the same night.
Yeah.
And how did it go with Jamal Hill, a guy who was forced to vacate his title due to an injury? He finished him in the first round, saying nonchalantly to the ref, "Don't worry, him kicking me in the balls was nothing. I got this." 2 seconds later, knockout. So it's Alex Pereira, bro, the UFC light heavyweight champion, well on his way to being one of the top 10 UFC fighters of all time, if not already there.
I knew you were going there. I knew it. So here comes the clash, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Finally, me and Jose have a clash because I 1000% disagree with Jose. Let me say, unlike Jose, show respect and mention my honorable mentions. I have Alex Poatan as the close number 2 Fighter of the Year. He did great. Yes, no champion was as frequently fighting, willing to put his hand up and save cards. You got to give respect to Poatan. Right on, dude. But guess what? Guess what Poatan doesn't have on his resume in 2024? 2 of the top 10. No, let's just do top 15 just in case. Just in case I'm wrong. 2 of the top 15 pound for pound fighters on his resume. He doesn't have 2 legends that will be remembered in all time in their weight class on his resume. The man that has that did defeat 2 all-time legends. If you say 1, 2, 3 best featherweights of all time, you have the 2 guys that got knocked out by Ilia Topuria, the Matador, the Spain, the Georgian. The man knocked out Volkanovski. He knocked out Max Holloway. He knocked out a guy in Max Holloway that's never been knocked out, and all of the damage that he's always had in the UFC. He beat the 2 pound for pound greatest fighters of all time, 1, 2 pound for pound greatest fighters in 2024 for 2, and did it in 20 minutes total. 20 minutes total. He didn't need, they're both 5 rounds. He didn't need 50 minutes. He did it in less than half of that time. Knocked him out, both of them. Out cold. Well, Max Holloway was still moving, but we didn't need to see anything more. We didn't need to see any more. So I, myself, Milton, disagree with Jose and Alex Poetan because mainly of competition. Talk to me.
So you want to talk about fights in less than 20 minutes? That's disgusting, Milton. Okay. That's disgusting. First of all, that was 2 fights, okay? Let's get that out the way. 1, he knocks out a guy who had just got knocked out like 60 days before. So let's not even go there. That he has the huge advantage of that right there. Next, we just talked about how fight of the year, or in this knockout of the year, was Holloway versus Gaethje, and they took years of their life away. I don't care how good Max looked. The leg kicks that he absorbed in that fight, the jaw that was freaking weakened from Gaethje, because Gaethje's no freaking chump. He ain't weak. So so of course these 2 are set up. They are set up for the perfect opportunity for Ilia Topuria to have his moments on the rise. So this is perfect for him. But Alex Pereira, he beat 3 men in less than 25 minutes.
That's fair.
That's more impressive to me. Not only that, he finished him in round 1. He finished him in round 2. And then he finishes him in round 4. He could have done that one a lot sooner, but he chose to stay a little longer because he was a little cocky. I've admitted that already. But still, in less than 25 minutes, less than a full championship fight, he beat 3 men unconsciously in the mat. He is rightfully the man of the year. Ilia has a long way to go. He will be a guy that will be remembered in the featherweight division. I can see that already. But right now, 2024, it was the year of the Potan.
That was good. I must give you that. But nonetheless, the men that let's break down. He also has that. So as far as who is the bigger star right now, I guess, of course, you got to say Alex Pereira, but we're not talking about biggest star of the year. We're not talking about that. Let's talk about, since you want to bring up, oh, well, one guy got knocked out, which was fair. I was on record saying Volk should not be in there with a guy like Topuria after getting head kicked, knocked out by a guy in Islam. So I give you that. And I like your point on the Max Holloway. It makes sense. We don't know how his durability changed because we can't test that, but it makes sense. It's a fair point. Now let's talk about my main point on having Ilia Topuria number 1 because of 2024, because of competition. So when we talk competition, Yuri Prochazka, 1, he got a rematch that nobody wanted to see. We all can admit this. We didn't want to see it because nothing was going to change. He beat Alexander Rakic after losing the entirety of the first round, almost getting knocked out. Talk about leg kicks. His leg was kicked out of or under him. All Rakic had to do was continue with the leg kicks, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Then he beats a guy in Khalil Roundtree that was ranked, number 8 and getting a title shot? Well, he's ranked number 7 now. He went up one shot.
I thought he was 7 when he got the fight. That's why I don't know.
Okay,
It don't matter. It's down there. It's down there.
7-8. Let's just in case I am wrong. 7-8, and you beat that guy. Oh, great job. Who thought Khalil Roundtree was going to win? I don't know. I didn't. And then you beat a guy in Jamal Hill that also is not proven. He has 11 wins in his career. Six?
Former champion. We are not going to discredit that.
In a division where light heavyweight has been scrutinized ever since John Jones has left, because the championship keeps changing hands. What's the worst division in the UFC? Man, I think light heavyweight. That was the conversation being had when Jamal Hill won the belt. So just thought I'd put that out there as well. Won it off of a 43-year-old, a 42-year-old.
And you already beat your own debate, Milton, because you've had transitional champion. What is Alex Pereira? Not that.
All right, that's fair.
He's won the title. Mm-hmm. He's defended it multiple times, 3 this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's well on his way to probably defend it again early 2025.
Here's the issue with that. He hasn't beat a number one contender other than Jamal Hill. Yuri wasn't a number one contender. Guess who's the number one contender? And he still says he's not going to fight him.
Because Magomed wants him to wait. He wants to fight now. Mm-hmm. Why does Alex do you think Alex, a guy who wants to fight because he's 38, 37 years old, going late to his career, do you think he's got time to wait? No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to be like Islam and all these guys that only want to fight twice a year. He wants to be an active fighter, an active champion. So if Magomed's like, you gotta wait till after Ramadan, and the champion's like, no, I don't. What do you think is gonna happen, bro?
Okay. All right.
What do you think is gonna happen? So sorry to Magomed, who has had a title opportunity. Sadly, it was a draw. Weird that it shouldn't have been a draw. We agreed on that. Right. But nonetheless, he got the title shot, didn't finish his opponent. Right. So, but Alex did. Alex got his title opportunity, finished that man, finished the next 3. He is the clear-cut winner. Now, yes, we can say Topuria, he fought one of the best of all time in Volkanovski. Sure, he was only 40%. But he beat
you're adding stuff. No, just keep going. Stop making your point.
Yeah, he beat Max Holloway. But when's the last time Max Holloway actually won a title fight? Oh, that was
because of who?
Alex. You're right. And then he already came, and he was coming to the fight 75%. So what you're telling me is that it doesn't matter if you're number one contender or the champion. Mm-hmm. Ilya's coming in fully healthy, not tested chin or anything, and ready to go on these old legends.
Legends.
They're old. I mean, Volkanovski makes fun of himself with those old tape videos.
Yeah. Those are great, by the way. Shout out to
All right, we got some comments. My boy Mike's in here says, not to mention he's beginning to develop a personality that makes him enjoyable to watch and marketable as fuck. Okay. Talking about Alex.
Peloton, yeah.
Hey, and by the way, he technically won 4 times this year. Did you see how he emotionally, physically beat down Jamal Hill in that training session?
I was going to add that.
That's 4 wins. You know what? That's 4 wins.
Even with that added on and all the other social media stuff, he has just been living in rent-free in Jamal Hill's head. So I agree with that part. I agree with that part.
Well, Jason here says 2 Patriot fans sitting in a tree. Nah, just kidding. Just drop in and say hi because I don't know enough about UFC. And nice city, Milton. Merry Christmas to y'all. Merry Christmas to you, Chase.
Merry Christmas, bro. Merry Christmas.
Chama!
No one's gonna agree with me. It's okay. Chama, he has became again. I don't disagree. He has became just like the Oliveira train, a guy that doesn't speak a lick of English, but everybody loves him. One, because of his mannerisms, because of how he fights. It's always entertaining. But also that's where, and I don't put it against him just because it is who he has to fight in his division. That's kind of is what it is. He's going against guys that are going to stand with him. We've had this conversation, I believe. Peloton, we all know, is a glory kickboxing champion. He is a kickboxing, not a kickboxer, a kickboxing champion. And he's going up against guys with smaller gloves and guys that want to stand with him. Who's going to win those fights? Everybody that's betting against Peloton, against these kickboxers, it's just absurd. It makes no logical sense. You got to put a guy with some style of grappling that is consistent with the grappling. I get it. You're going to fight who's next. You're going to fight who's in your division. And in his division, there's no outstanding grappler. Magomed at least has some style that he can implement his grappling. That's all. Let's get Magomed out of here because we're talking fighter of the year. But yeah,
that's right.
we're
not talking about
know,
2025 yet. We're talking about what's been done in 2024. And what happened in 2024, Alex Pereira triumphs over whatever Ilya did, respectfully. Okay. Respectfully.
All right.
Let's remember, ladies and gentlemen, he fought in what, April, June, and November? 3 times. How many times did you say?
Well, he doesn't have to weight cut like that. Ilya's like 190 on off season. Which that's cheating, by the way, everybody.
So what you're telling me is he needed that 8-month break to finally defend his title that he had won back in what, February? He needed all that, but yeah, sure. We'll go there. We'll go 8-month break, sure.
Yeah,
sure,
he has
Milton.
a big weight cut. All right, he is not a small. He is not a small guy.
I don't want to hear weight cuts about it because we've had great fighters who were taking short-term fights, losing 20, 30 pounds in a matter of a week or two just to get, fight after fight after fight. So we've had guys to do that. So I don't want to hear it. If he's choosing to live his life at 190, that's his problem. That's not everyone else's. All right. So now that we've moved on there, we've talked about our awards, guys. We are now going to be talking about 2025. So, Milton, let's start with first. I want to go with not to sound like it's not as intriguing as the next topic. I want to start with the champions that will lose their titles in 2025.
Okay.
So we'll go there. So I'll start with the first champion that I think, and then we'll interchange because we probably have some that we agree.
Right.
The first champion that I believe will lose their title, or at least not maybe the date-wise or whatever, the most believable, I believe Belal Muhammad will lose to Shavkat Rakhmonov. He'll lose the 170, the welterweight title to him, and that's to me probably the easiest one for me to go out there with. So, what do you say to that?
Well, one, I agree. Now, will it be everybody, I'm on record and I'm telling everybody now, Belal is one of the most boring fighters, he's disliked so much, and sometimes it's not warranted, but a lot of the times it is. Belal he won the belt fair and square, but I agree with Jose. He will definitely, by the end of 2025, not be the welterweight champion of the UFC. Agreed. And probably Shavkat will be the one to beat him. Okay. Mine is going to be, funny enough, the first belt that's going to be changing hands in 2025. Y'all be on the lookout. The first pay-per-view of January, we got Merab losing his belt to Umar Nurmagomedov. Merab, don't get me wrong, dude. He is a likable guy. When I pick against him, I get pissed off. I think he's definitely genuine in a lot of his interactions with people, the media, and the fighters. As of what he's doing with Umar, doesn't seem as genuine. So I think that's a nice little chink that's already getting stirred up in him. He says, "Oh, Umar, you haven't fought anybody. You haven't," even though he just beat Corey Sandhagen, which arguably, if Corey Sandhagen would have won, he would have been the next in the title shot. So,
and arguably for people, sorry to cut you off, Milton. I thought Sandhagen deserved the title fight before Chito Vera got the title fight against Sean O'Malley. So, because he had just beat him in San Antonio, so way deserved the title shot way before that. So, Sandhagen's no joke. Even though he's never been a guy that people see as championship caliber, but he did deserve his title fight before Umar did.
Yeah, correct.
At the time.
Yeah, right. And even Corey, give a real quick shout out to Corey. He don't get me wrong, he probably couldn't have waited, but him taking the fight against Umar, which the reason why he didn't fight anybody in the top 10, just like Islam, just like Habib, nobody wants to fight him. That's it. Nobody wants to fight him. He says yes to everybody. They say no to him. That's not on him. I'm not going to blame the guy that's saying yes to everybody and everyone's saying no to. But shout out to Corey for taking the fight. And then also, obviously, he lost his position in the rankings. So Merab is going to be the first in 2025 to lose his belt and new Umar Nurmagomedov.
Okay. I like that. I like that. For me, Milton, the next champion that might lose, and it might maybe as early as the next pay per view, but early in the year, I mean,
Mhm.
or later on, it is the middleweight champion Dricus
Mm,
du Plessis. As much as he's evolved and he's gotten better in his career, obviously from his earlier fights where he gassed out pretty quickly. I do think that if he does end up facing a guy like Hamza Chimaev, that title change will
oh,
happen.
yeah.
And he does have a fight with Sean Strickland first, which I think me and you previously talked about. We agreed that Sean had won that fight.
Correct.
So if Sean stays motivated, which sadly, even in his Paulo Costa fight, he didn't look motivated. So I don't know what's going to happen in this rematch. There's a good chance that Du Plessis does not walk away 2025 a UFC champion.
So man, that's a rough one. Because yes, if he fights Hamzat, I'm not picking against Hamzat. That's not happening.
Mhm.
Now, don't get me wrong. How Hamzat is running, I think he'll run through anybody in the middleweight division. Not named Dricus. I don't really care for Dricus. He's an unorthodox. His striking sloppy. His grappling's weird, but it works. He's strong. He definitely knows what he's doing as far as the fundamentals. Once he gets the position, to get the position, it's a very weird transition that he likes to do. But anyways, I do see it. I agree that he probably will not be the 2025 middleweight champion, but I think it's going to be the toughest test for Hamzat
Yeah.
because Dricus is big. He's a big guy. You saw how Izzy's not a grappler, but he's always been a good defensive grappler. And you saw once Dricus had him, it was easy work. He little broed Izzy. So I agree, but I don't know why I'm hesitant. I have no idea
I
why.
don't know either because
I know.
as explosive as Hamzat is, I don't see Duplessis, I don't see DDP, really trying to stop that fight at all. I mean, I to be honest with you. So I see if it does end up being Hamzat at one point versus Duplessis, I say and like you can give it rounds 2 or 1 or whatever you want to go with. It's not even gonna look close, respectfully. Like I said, Duplessis has gotten better. Yeah, absolutely. And maybe I shouldn't count him out, right? I did see Gilbert Burns take, Hamzat as far as he could. I saw
Mhm,
Kamaru, another big man,
mhm.
take Hamzat as far as he could. But to be honest with you, I mean, I just don't know if Duplessis is ready to see a guy with this much, speed, acceleration,
Mhm.
as he's gotten because Izzy has not been himself in a long time. So that fight, I feel like, while yes, Duplessis did get him on the choke and he got him, took him down, and had his way with him. I didn't feel like the same Izzy as with the past.
Okay.
Sean Strickland, we saw the fight, and while we
Yeah.
gave it to Sean, it also didn't feel like Sean was that explosive and that threatening. I mean, so I feel like this is going to be a whole different ballpark for Duplessis, in my opinion. So
So
yeah,
I agree though. But let me ask you: do you think that if he doesn't fight Hamzat, well, he will, but when he fight, because he's going to fight Strickland first, do you think he loses to Strickland?
that's a toss up. But I mean,
Yeah,
I
right.
don't I
It
don't
was
think
close last time, so
it was close last time, but at the same time too, yeah, it's that weird thing. Is like when you lose a title, no matter what, sometimes you don't come into the rematch as hungry. And I don't know if Sean's hungry. He didn't look hungry against Costa. That's the
right.
tough part. So I don't know if I'm confident in Sean winning the fight. But I believe if Hamza gets the shot, which I know they're gonna save him to get the title shot no matter what, I do think he dethrones Duplessis.
Okay.
So
All right. I only have because I agree with that. So 170. Well, one, I didn't ask you. Do you agree or disagree with my bantamweight take with Marab not being the champion in 2025?
with Marab, I can see him losing the title. I can also honestly see a surprise upset over Umar.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not so confident in that because
Right?
Marab's style is very he's again, he doesn't get tired. So that's a tough person to be across from.
Now we did
Like,
see if he is too arrogant. We saw it in the O'Malley fight that he is susceptible to getting hit in those ribs.
Oh yeah.
and it'll slow him down significantly. And if I'm Umar, if I'm that Nurmagomedov camp, I'm looking at what
My-
almost got Marab in that title fight against O'Malley. So
mhm.
I'm taking
When
advantage of that.
the thing that some people, when they hear the last name Nurmagomedov, you think of obviously Habib Islam. Islam's last name's not Nurmagomedov, but it's just the
The camp,
Abdullah Plop. Oh, excuse me, that was a terror. Abdullah Pop. Habib's dad, who everybody that he's trained has that grappling prowess, and Umar and his brother in Bellator, Usman, both of them have that, yes, but that's secondary. That's the beauty of Umar. Umar has that Taekwondo straight kickboxing style of fighting. His first go-to is stand-up. Obviously, Habib, if Habib's in the corner, he's gonna say, brother, like, stop. Take him down. Take him down.
pick him up,
Yeah,
slam him down the
take,
ground.
take him down. So obviously that's going to be another game plan in there. But on the feet, just like you saw, yes, in the 5th round against Sean O'Malley, guess who also has very, very good kicks? Umar. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see that one. But the only other champion that I don't think will be and still by the end of 2025, and this is a asterisk and a question mark, and it's probably going to ruffle your feathers, is Alex Poatan Pajeda. Guess what? Sometime during this year, you're going to have to fight Magomed. And when you have to fight Magomed, I don't see you winning. And I'm saying this 2 ways. This is my hot take. So grappling, you're toast. In my opinion, that's not a hot take. Second, this is where it's a hot take. I think on the feet, Alex is obviously better. I think Magomed has certain things on his style. He has certain tricks that he likes to do, what he did against Rakic, what he did against Jan, that he can pose a problem for Alex if he wants to get cute like he did against Roundtree. Roundtree caught him and couldn't do much with him because Roundtree, I'm sorry to say, brother, he is very limited on the feet. He's a Muay Thai guy that has a couple of moves, and that's it. And you're not going to do that against Alex Pajeda. Now, when it comes to Magomed, a guy that's going to mix it up, that's the issue. Because even, again, Islam, Dustin Poirier, it's like, oh, man, Islam's only cashing him because of the takedown threat. Magomed's going to be the same way. And new light heavyweight champion of the world, Alex Pajeda is going to go back to middleweight and try to get a belt.
Disagree. Yeah. 1,000,000%, sir.
Of course.
Disgusting. If he, you know what? If Alex loses the light heavyweight title, it's because he vacated it because he already did what he needed to do there, and he moved up to 265. You, sir, disgust me with your agenda of trying to make Magomed a champion. He's not going to be the UFC light heavyweight champion. Not at least walking through Alex. Get out of here on the feet. On the feet?
Yep.
Get out of here, sir. Please. Take a long cold shower.
Okay.
Give yourself a refresh of what you're thinking, and just remember, Chama!
I do remember, if memory serves, my memory is not the greatest, but it's pretty good. The first fight against Yuri, Mr. Chama was hurt on the feet by a guy in Yuri that has, in my opinion, his stand-up is absolutely terrible. I don't know how he's made it this far in the UFC, in my opinion, in Yuri. All respect, because he has, but by mechanics, it didn't make sense. I recall in that first fight, Poatan getting hurt by Yuri. That was weird. And then I also recall against Khalil Roundtree, like we already discussed, him getting caught and hurt. Man, if somebody could have just, pounced on him, maybe took him down and did some damage there.
So let me ask you something, Milton, since we want to talk about how Yuri, the last samurai, and Roundtree hurts Alex. Mm-hmm. When Alex takes those punishments, right? When he does get hit, you think he's taking those guys seriously? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. No. Don't lie to me now. No, you know the answer. Right. Okay. So
Okay.
you and the whole world is
Mhm.
trying to tell Alex fight Magomed. He's your biggest threat at the 205 division,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So do you think he's gonna step in there and just think that I'll casually just walk by him, we'll be fine, or do you think he's gonna take him seriously, like he took a Jamal Hill, like he took Yeedy the second time? What are we thinking, Milton? What were their ranks when he fought them?
Right. I get you. That's a
Okay,
good point. Good
so
point.
Magomed, they got everyone's hyping up the dude that's on social media using his translator, his Google Translate,
All
to
right.
make sure that he gets his words across to Alex.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're telling me that man is going to be the biggest threat? No, sir, I disagree. I believe Alex will take him very seriously. I think
Okay.
he will be ready for him. He will train like never before, and he will make sure he leaves the 205 division champion and then go up and wait.
Okay. I just want to make sure I clear this up because I got to make sure Magomed is his toughest challenge in the 205, right?
It's like the only challenge left, to be honest with
Okay,
you.
fair enough. Okay, let's make
Yeah,
sure.
so
It sounded like you thought he's gonna walk. Do you? Okay, let me ask you this as well, since we're still on.
who else is left at 205?
That's gonna, yeah, nobody. Rakic got his shot and he just blew it. So there goes that. But do you think he walks through him or something?
Not walks through. I think he takes it more seriously. I think he does about second or
Think he
third round
knocks him out?
finish.
You think he
Oh
knocks
yeah, for
Magomed?
sure. Because here's the thing too, Magomed's
Okay.
also been talking about how he's gonna stand up
He
and he's
might.
gonna, yeah, it's not gonna end well for him. It might be a first round finish if he doesn't try to take him down right away.
All right, I
And if he
can't wait
goes
till
in
that
there as
fight gets
cocky as
announced.
Sean Strickland,
What?
because remember Sean Strickland, the first fight against Alex
Oh,
Pereira.
Sean, that was, yeah. What Sean Pro he posed no threat. You have no power. You have no you have grappling. You don't use it. There was no threat there. That was a sad story to actually
I'm
watch.
just saying, man. I'm
When
just
that
saying.
fight happens, we have to be somewhere in the same vicinity. Something has to happen
Well,
because that's
we'll just go live watching the fights
okay.
from each
That'll
other's
be good.
homes
That'll be
because
good.
you don't want me to, you don't want to see me upset. Just kidding. You don't want me to be mad, Milton.
That will be
Let
that
the
will be
pushing
fun.
be real.
I see red when I get mad. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right,
That's the only
that's the last
belts
champion
that
you
I
had.
see moving. Yeah, yeah. Do you? Yeah, it's on you now.
One more. I got one
Okay.
more on here. I threw
Okay.
out there. This is
You
from
better
the
not.
135-pound division, but it's not the men's. It's the
Ah,
women's.
all right.
Juliana Pena will
Okay.
not leave 2025 champion.
Okay.
Now, who is the champion? Her next
Ah,
challenge is
good one.
Kayla Harrison.
Uh-huh.
So maybe her,
I
maybe
hope
not.
I hope so.
There's another name out there that I might have, but I might be saving it for our next topic.
Okay.
So
I got you.
we'll see. So I just want to throw out there. I don't believe Juliana Pena leaves 2025 champion.
So I actually went to second Jose's. I agree. I just didn't have the gall to say it. Just because 135, as you already probably know, I mean, it's not stacked. I'll just be nice about it.
No.
Just be nice. It reminds me of 145, but we'll talk about that. That's another time.
Well, we know what happened to 145, didn't we?
Yeah,
It's not going to happen to 135, but
Yeah,
you
it
know,
won't.
maybe it could.
No.
I don't know.
All right. Okay, let's go into the next one. Go ahead.
All right, so we got to talk about now fights to make in 2025. Milton, to be honest with you, I have 5 fights that I am wanting that UFC makes in 2025.
Mhm.
Some that are realistic, maybe some that are overboard, but
Mhm.
I do have them there. But since I brought up the last one with Pena, I want you to kick this one off.
Okay. So fights to make in 2025. One of my big ones is going to be more of a super fight, but also makes sense for the division. I have Ilya Taporia, champion or not, going up to 155 and fighting Charles do Bronx Oliveira. I think Taporia to go up. One, he's not Volk. Volk had the success at 145, the defenses, et cetera, to get, like Dana said, get whatever he wants, right? Taporia, yes, like I said, he's the fighter of 2024, in my opinion. Okay, all right. But he's only defended it once, right? I believe his trainer also said if he went up in weight, he would fight a contender first, which in my opinion would be smart for him because Islam is, well, I guess everybody's toughest matchup, but definitely Toporia's toughest matchup. But going up against a guy like Oliveira, I think the narrative would be, oh, well, Topuria is too small. And we all know Oliveira's chin is not great. let's just be nice about it. He recovers, yeah. But as we saw against Islam, if somebody follows him down there and knows what they're doing, yeah, it's not so great. And Topuria he hasn't shown the casual world of his grappling, but his grappling is nothing to play with. It is nothing to play with. So I think that is one of the fights to make in 2025, champion or not. I would love to see that matchup.
Okay. All right. Nice. Good stuff there. Let me go back to Wells Pena.
Yes.
Now she's not a dream fight. Let's be honest. I'm not looking forward to her fights. But I do think a title fight for the 135 title may happen, and I'm hoping it does if the chips, the puzzle pieces fall into place. Right. The champion, Kayla Harrison, 135, defends her title against Valentina Shevchenko.
You said Kayla Harrison. Wait, so you think Kayla is going to be champion, and she's going to fight Valentina? That's your fight. Ooh.
Valentina moves up. Moves up. Yep. And tries to finish the story that she wasn't able to when Amanda Nunes was around.
Yeah.
So that for me, Milton, is a fight I would love to see in 2025. But this one is more of a late 2025 fight.
Of course.
Probably around November or something like that.
Right.
But that is a fight that I would like to see. So sorry, Milton, if it was a different champion you want me to give the title to.
No. I'm glad it's not Chandra Pena. That's all. But Kayla Harrison against Valentina, what a matchup. Real quick, and we'll get back on subject. If you remember, if you don't, it's all good. The first fight, easily Amanda Nunes won the fight.
Yes.
Second fight, Valentina won that fight. I don't care.
I would have been fine with a draw, but Valentina, I felt was a little robbed, but I understood. Right. There's an understanding to it. Like that's why it's not a full robbery for me.
Of course, it's
not. If they had given it to Valentina, I would be like, hell yeah. That's why I always thought a third fight made sense between them. Obviously, once they are both elite champions in the division, but of course Nunes retires and Valentina never decided to want to go back up again.
Yeah.
So that's the sucky part there. But that's part of the reason to why I want to see something like a Valentina versus Juliana Pena. I mean Kayla Harrison. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Valentina and Kayla go at it because one, this could finish the story for Valentina, and two, this would even solidify Kayla even more if she would have successfully defend the title. Between two, I mean, Valentina is obviously one of maybe top 3 women's fighters all time, right? Maybe top 2. I'm just trying to give respect to the Chris Cyborgs and whoever other people, other women out there before. So, so for me, I think this would be a fantastic fight to watch: Kayla Harrison versus Valentina Shevchenko, 2025.
That would be such an interesting matchup there. Because you got obviously an All-American judo. She's a great grappler. Then you got the best Muay Thai specialist of all time as a woman, in my opinion. Oh, man, that would be fantastic. Okay, that's a good one. I didn't expect that. Okay, my next one is one that's probable. It's not a title. It's a title implication fight in the welterweight division. And it's probable because the brother called for it. We got Joaquin Buckley against Kamaru Usman.
Okay.
I think, Kamaru hasn't fought in a while. I really just want to see him back in there. Not being timid because of when he fought Leon the second time. Until the fifth round, it's like he didn't want to get knocked out. Nobody wants to get knocked out. But you're not supposed to fight. Like, why'd you get back in there if you were going to fight that way? But again, that's easy to say.
I explained earlier, bro. Sometimes when these guys get their rematch, they're not the same fight they were the first time around or before that. So
even against Chimaev, yes, he was his defense was fantastic, as we know now, because what he did to Rob and him having Kamaru's back for a couple minutes,
Short
right?
notice. To be fair,
Short. That's good. You're fair enough. But even how he looked there, and then it looked like they were completely different people on the feet. Like Chimaev didn't want anything to do with Kamaru on the feet. It seemed
yeah,
like, uh, which again it could be come down to short notice, but nonetheless, Joaquin Buckley on his way up. I mean, as fighter of the year, he was on my honorable mentions. He got 4 wins against 3 ranked opponents, 2 finishes, and one of the other ranked non-ranked opponents was the boogeyman, as this I forgot the Russian Nursav Mabaya Maya, whatever his name was, but that was at the middleweight division, and he beat him. So, I mean, 4 wins in 1 year, that's fantastic for anybody. And again, 3 ranked opponents in Vicente, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and recently Colby Covington. So, finishing all of them, all TKO on all 3 of them. So, I think Joaquin Buckley against Kamaru Usman, Buckley called for it. I think Usman would oblige, and that would be one of the fights to make for 2025.
nice. Um, one of the fights I do have here is a wild card. Now, this depends if this fighter can get out of his contract in PFL/Bellator. So, depending on which division he fights in, I would love to see Patricio Pitbull Freire versus Ilia Topuria or even Islam Makachev, depending on what weight class he wants to go in the UFC.
Is that just the because anybody that's not just a UFC fan, now I know you're not, and just an MMA fan in general, know the know the Pitbull brothers, and Patricio is the better one of them.
Yeah.
Now, those 2 matchups are kind of crazy for him, though, huh? that would really
he would take both fights. The more
exciting
exciting one, I think I would go with Ilia, just because I don't think it'd be as threatening on the floor. But I mean, the impact, the fight,
Man.
like, oh my god,
that's
bro.
a good one. Oh, Ilya. Oh, that's a good one. He would definitely have to beat somebody in the featherweight division, which is definitely doable depending on who they want to put him against. But
I also wouldn't be mad if they just throw him in because he's 37 and might as well just throw him in there now.
Right. I'm not mad at that. I'm not. Well, I guess it just depends. They have to give Diego
Legacy career-wise, he's done enough, Milton.
Right. Correct.
His resume speaks for itself.
100%. I give you that. That's a good one. Okay. That is a wild card, but I do remember why you probably seen Patricio kind of say that he wants out. This could be all alleged, but it seems like it's reputable sources that's saying this.
I think he's vocally said it himself too. I think he said it. So
he wants out. Dana will Pitbull. The name is everything. He'll definitely let that come over. MVP Michael Chandler.
Yep.
He'll definitely let that come over because all 3 of those are legends in Bellator.
Yep.
Okay. One of my probable man, is this really probable? It might not be probable. Well, I'm gonna do a 2-piece real quick because one's gonna be a quick one we already talked about, just so I'm on record saying it. Magomed against Alex Pereira. If you love Alex, I love Alex. If you believe it or not, I truly love this
I couldn't tell, Milton. I couldn't tell when I was
negative. It's the way with Magomed, man. It's for years I've said he is the best 205er. And Alex comes about. He's a reigning champion now. He has 3 defenses. 3 defenses in a year's time, so that's great. And you're still UFC, it could be UFC, Ramadan, it could be a lot of different things, but still Magomed's not the guy that everyone's just all the media, all of us know that should be the fight. But it seems like UFC's not just saying, yeah, definitely Magomed's next. No, so I think that's one of the fights. We don't have to I think we agree that should be a fight in 2025. Whenever that is, should be a fight in 2025. My one that I wanted to discuss is kind of something for me. So it might not happen, it might, but I think these are the 2 best male bantamweights in the entire world. Forget UFC, entire world. Umar Nurmagomedov I believe he will be champion. So I believe he'll be the champion, the red corner, against
Okay.
Piotr Jan. The like, don't get me wrong, when Piotr had his fall off, it was a crazy fall off. Just because one, everybody that watched it was watching, who is this guy? Why is he doing this? Why is he fighting like this? What is he doing? What happened to Peter? All right. And as of the last two fights against Song Yadong and then against Davison Figueiredo, he showed himself back, at least for now, back to be what we thought he was.
Yeah.
And I think Piotr Jan, especially if he gets the belt back, let's say Umar gets upset and loses and he beats Marab on a rematch. I think Piotr Jan could go down as one of the best bantamweights of all time. So I just think Umar can reach that pinnacle.
Yeah.
And I think that fight is just, if that happens in the middle or the end of 2025, that's like I'm not, and what's a better word? I don't want to say wet dream because that's pause.
Just say that, bro.
That's a wet dream. It's a wet dream. No Diddy, pause, everything of the sort. But that's my MMA wet dream for sure.
Okay. Okay. For me,
Mhm.
another fight that I would love to see, it would have to be towards the end of the year, depending on how the pieces fall here. I would love to see the champion in the situation, Hamzat Chimaev versus Israel Adesanya at the end of the year. Now, of course, like I mentioned already, I know Izzy. I've already said Izzy's not the same guy he was back then.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, man, styles make fight,
Mm-hmm.
and and if Izzy finds a way, if Hamza irritates him enough, maybe we can see the old hungry lion that Izzy was once upon a time before his deflated booby. Um,
Nice. Nice.
so if we can get a motivated Izzy, which is still one of the best fighters out there at the time, I want to see that versus Hamza Chimaev. That would be explosive fight because let's be honest, if Hamza wins the title, there is not a big laundry list of guys for him to defend the title against. What are you gonna do? Give it to Sean Strickland? He'd already have another title fight and blah.
Yeah.
Give Duplessis a rematch. No one's really paying to see Duplessis fight. Respectfully, not to say anything. You want to go with the money fights. Robert Whitaker's already lost a jaw line, so we can't
Lost
we
some
can't
teeth.
run that.
Lost some
Yeah, we
teeth.
can't run that back. So Izzy would be the next big name among what possibly is the legacy, the long Hall of Fame resume that could be of Hamza Chimaev. So that's a fight I would want to see towards the end of the year.
I would love to see it, but I used to be such a big Izzy fan. I put a lot of people on Izzy before he became UFC known. But I mean, as of late, not just because I agree with you, he hasn't really fought the same with the same fire. He's been very nonchalant, like he's just better than everybody, which okay, that's not how you're supposed to be. As all, you have to stay humble, otherwise you will get humbled, like he's been. But also the other antics, just everything else, I'm not a fan of. But
Yeah.
and I think Hamzat would absolutely destroy Izzy. Don't get me wrong, yeah, a knee could come up, knee could hold a knee right to the face. Yeah, that'll change the aspect of any fight. But I mean, we'll see. That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
One of my fights to make in 2025 is kind of going off the back burner of the first pay per view of 2025. Obviously, you have Islam and Armin. And then, of course, again, how I think the title's going to change hands in Umar and Marab. The guys that just lost to both of them, we've been calling for ages. Corey Sandhagen against Sean O'Malley. Those are the lengthiest guys in the division, the best kickboxers in the division. Debatable. I think Peter Yan's up there. I think that would be a match made in heaven while it's standing. I do see, as we've seen, Corey Sandhagen's grappling has gotten much better after getting choked unconscious by Aljo years back.
Yep.
But it has gotten so years better, especially against Umar. He was trying to take Umar down. That was stupid, but hey, he wanted to prove something, I guess. And him against Sean O'Malley, while it's staying on the feet, I think would be, man, just such an interesting aspect of bantamweight MMA, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'll make this a two-parter because it kind of goes with itself from both of these fights here. So obviously, the fight to make in 2025, the fight. It's like we've had this conversation before. It's John Jones versus Tom Aspinall.
Right.
That's the fight to make.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one we want to see. If John wins, he solidifies himself, amongst the greats of heavyweights. But like to me, he's already the GOAT right there. But he just locks it in the heavyweight division for me there. If Tom Aspinall wins, we got a new hungry lion ready to fight, to go through the divisions, to go through new challenges as well there. So that's a fight to make. But to make the next title fight after that, it's the winner of Jones versus Aspinall versus Potan, Alex Pereira. Because that is my win dream.
That it. That's so aggressive. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, man, obviously, box office. Duh.
I'm going for the box
totally
office fights, Milton.
Okay. Because now let's get the business suit off, and now we just have our wife beater white t-shirts on. Just you know what?
Cody, where you at?
Oh yeah, just our white t-shirts. Yeah, shout out to white t Cody. And we look at the matchup between Poatan and let's just go John Jones. What do you think? What you love Alex, but you love John Jones too.
Oh,
so that's good. So you'll be realistic. How quick does this end?
First round within 4 minutes.
Okay.
He's gonna grapple with him. He's gonna kind of mess with him a little bit. Maybe he'll give him 10 seconds to try a stand-up move, and then he's gonna go straight for the single leg real quick because John does not want to get knocked out.
No.
So for box office reasons, Milton, that's why I want to see the fight. Do I know it's predictable? Absolutely. Does that matter to me? Absolutely not.
That's good. That's honest. What about Tom?
Tom, I think, is a more of a competitive fight, which is kind of why I would love to see that. I think it will happen down the road regardless. And the reason why, Milton, is because John is in Money Mayweather mode for people who want to understand. He's in I'm in more defensive mode to retain my titles, to stay undefeated, etc., etc. Whereas Tom, he is a young, hungry lion trying to make a name for himself. Whether he is walking in champion against Alex Pereira or he's just another challenger for him, he is trying to establish his career, his resume, and he's gonna want to do the stand up with Alex. Whether it's smart or not, he would try to stay up more with them. Now, can he take it anywhere else? Absolutely. Aspinall can do whatever he wants. Alex in the heavyweight division against grapplers, even the light heavyweight division, it's gonna be a challenge for him. Mm-hmm. But with the right training, with the right discipline, anything can happen. So, box office wise, Milton, that's why those are my last two fights on this for 2025. Because whether you like it or not, when you see either the name right now of John Jones or Alex Pereira, it doesn't matter who they fight. You want to buy the fight because you know something good's about to happen.
Okay. That's good. That's box office wise. You can't get bigger than that one. So hats off. You can't get bigger than that. So my only other fight to make of 2025, I don't know how realistic it is, but I think it would just be fireworks, is Leon Rocky Edwards finally coming back out of hiding, going against Jack Della Maddalena. Both strikers. Say it again.
Which I think was already announced, or it's rumored to be out there.
It's rumored, right? I need it to happen, please. Leon hasn't fought since he got embarrassed and pissed all of us off, losing to Bilal the way he did, getting dropped on his head, not wanting to do anything. Couldn't have any. There's no more. Don't let him bully your son. There's none of that anymore because that's not working after getting bullied by the bully. And Jack Della Maddalena is on a trajectory that's just skyrocketing, brother. So don't get me wrong. I think Leon would try to incorporate some kind of grappling, but we'll see. I think, man, this would, as far as just pure MMA, again, I think this would be mainly a stand-up fight. Jack and Leon, book it, please. Please book it. And it has title implications. Jack wins, he's obviously going to be next in line for a title. Leon wins,
Mm.
he's beating an up-and-comer that's beating everybody else. So he'll be right back in there.
Man, no one wants to see Bilal Leon 3. Nobody does.
Oh,
Respectfully.
yeah, no.
I
No.
don't even know if people want to see Shavkat versus Leon, but they'll give they'll feed Leon to Shavkat if they really want to just up his resume. So they'll do that as well. So, but I know it might not happen. It may happen. Give me, Ian Machado Gary versus either Kamaru Usman or Leon Edwards, as we mentioned the first
I
episode.
say Leon, right? Yeah, Leon and Ian would be a great one.
Yeah, so that's all I got tonight, Milton. You got anything else before we want to close this out, brother?
I typically would, but I'm kind of under the weather. I did have one. So I had it somewhere. Well, I can remember a little bit. Out of all of the fighters, and this is Chimaev, Michael Morales, Umar Nurmagomedov, all of the undefeated fighters. Who do you think loses their O? So Ilya
Ooh.
Taporia, the other featherweight that just won, the Russian.
Let's see. Let me look. I need to look at this list.
Yeah, please. I had it, but I wanted Junior to have it.
Mozar, Ebola.
Yeah, Mosar. Who do you think's the first to lose their O? That's the main fighter. There's some that's under there that aren't ranked. Basharat, not Basharat.
If they can get a rematch between Gary and Shavkat, I can see Shavkat getting that L.
Really?
Because Ian did a lot to prove to me that he's at that level, to be honest with you.
But you heard the rumor. I don't know how true it is. The injury of Shavkat.
I don't want to care. I don't give a fuck.
I knew you were gonna.
I don't care.
Come on.
Once you step into the cage,
right? But next time that won't be a thing. He won't be hurt.
It doesn't matter. I don't know. That's true.
That's true. That's
he might have a bruised buttocks. Okay. It does not matter, Milton. If you're gonna go into the fight, if you're going in injured, then you're leaving yourself up for for an L. And Shavkat did. And guess what? Even if that's true, right? Let's say he went into a fight with Ian hurt. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, there's a confidence builder there for Ian now.
Right.
Now he believes that had he gotten maybe one more round or something like that, he could have finished him off. He could have done something. That he got his back. He got the body triangle. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, it was a mistake to keep the body triangle once he turned him around, but But otherwise,
learning.
There is a real possibility that, let's say, by the end of the year, Gary Shavkat 2 happens. I would not be surprised if Ian can get that upset.
Okay, nice. Well, last thing with Islam. One, do you think Islam beats Arman?
Yeah.
And do you see Islam moving up or staying at lightweight? These are random questions.
That'll be what, his fourth title defense, right? In lightweight. That'll be his fourth if he wins it.
That'll be his third. Oh
no, he's got the 2 Volk and he
that'll
has
be a
the
fourth.
1 Dustin.
Yeah. I forgot that counted Volk.
Yeah, he got 2 Volk defenses. Mm-hmm. What's that welterweight right now? I guess it just depends if it's really calling for him to fight either Bilal or Shavkat, depending on who's the champion up there. Mm-hmm. Because I think lightweight is always a division that's always got hungry new fighters moving up the ranks, so you really don't need to move up. Now, could he move up? Sure. I don't know if I'm excited for anything, to be honest with you.
Okay. Even in lightweight, because let's say Oliveira wins his next matchup. I mean, everybody that loves Oliveira wants to see it somewhat, but
why not? Money.
But how many rematches? Because Islam, think about his rematches, and I know Islam would just say yes, but you get the rematch with Volk, which was warranted. Don't get me wrong.
Short notice.
You get the rematch with him. You get the rematch with Arman, and then you get a rematch with Oliveira. It's like, well, who knew am I fighting?
So what if Arman gives him a bigger test, and then that just gives more of a reason why Oliveira should get a rematch?
That's good. Well, that would actually make a lot of logical sense. Now, if he does them like what against short notice, did him like Volk, makes it easier. It's like, well, the first fight against Oliveira was too easy, so I don't think that anybody wants to see that, right?
I mean, come on, bro. We're not saying Islam versus Dan Hooker again. We're saying
Yeah,
Oliveira.
right on
Oliveira.
there.
Do Bronx, bro. Come on,
Hey,
like
man,
that.
Dan Hooker's coming up in the ranks. I don't want to see that again, but hey, he's coming up in the ranks after beating. What's his name? What's his name?
I got you.
No.
It was
Gamrot.
Yeah.
After beating Gamrot, which was absolutely crazy. I mean, he won. He deserved it, but I did not see that coming. I mean, he's right there. He got one more win, and he'll be in the title implication, dude.
What's the fight that we were talking about? Oh, they're thinking maybe Gaethje versus Hooker.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people think Gaethje hits too hard. I think Hooker wins that fight. Crazy, I know. I got it.
But is it the new body tattoos that's got like he's got powers now?
It's different, man. I think it's different.
He's not the same. He's
not the same. He changed the color of his hair and he got more tattoos. The new fighter evolved. Dan Hooker has the chin.
Tattoos, new me.
Yeah. Okay. He has the chin compared to a guy in Gaethje that once the game plan's out the window, Gaethje's just fighting like a brawler at that point. He's legitimately lost all of his kickboxing credentials and is fighting like a brawler. And you do that against a guy like Dan Hooker, I think Dan Hooker can knock him smooth out. His leg kicks are also very, very powerful. Yeah. So it's just like if that matchup happens, I bet you a lot of people are going to say, oh, Dan Hooker's this, Dan Hooker's that. It's like, yo, just in case you guys got flatline.
I'll say this before he gets a title shot. I would say, if he does beat Gaethje, I still think he need one more fight. And I would love to run back Hooker versus Poirier.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so we'll see. But Milton, it's time for you to get some rest.
Yeah.
It's time for us to go back and pretend we care about the Seahawks versus Bears. I have not been keeping up to it.
I'm looking at the score right now. We didn't miss anything, dude.
All right, so I think we're good to go there. So, guys, thank y'all for watching Bell to Bell episode 2, our award show. We'll have a lot more topics to come by. Obviously, January 11th, we'll have another UFC fight card. I do believe we will talk about it, beforehand and after. So stay tuned about that. Keep following us at The People's Debate, at Puro Pinche Sports on all social media platforms. TikTok's about to go down soon, so enjoy it there as long as you can. But guys, for Milton Win, I am Jose Garza. This was Bell to Bell. Ding, ding. Bye, everybody.